Whether you're selling products or providing services to your customers, setting the right price can make or break your business. Over the next few minutes, you're going to learn everything that you need to know about pricing your goods and services to make sure that you get the most profit possible. At the end of the video, I'll tell you how to avoid the number one gotcha mistake that business owners make when setting prices. I'm TW Mack from the Small Business Growth Accelerator. I've been an entrepreneur since the late 1990s, and for the past 5 years, I've worked with small businesses to grow their business and not just create a job for themselves. If you're a small business owner or you just want to be one, like and subscribe to get more strategy and actionable tips to help you grow your business beyond self employment. The first thing that I want to talk about is a common misunderstanding. The price that you charge has nothing to do with your costs. The only thing that cost does is tell you whether you should sell the product or service in the first place. If you stop at a gas station and get a fountain soda, it costs the owner about 25 cents for everything. You'll probably pay about $1.60 for it. The gas that you buy while you're getting your soda makes about 7 cents a gallon. Usually, the station owner makes more money on the soda than they do when you fill up your tank, which is the entire reason that you stopped there in the first place. The markup on soda is about 640%. The markup on gas is about 2.5%. The cost of gas is much higher than the soda, but people aren't willing to pay more for gas when there's another station across the road. What something costs isn't what determines its price. It's what determines whether you bother to sell it in the first place. If it wasn't for the things that people buy when they go into the gas station while filling up their tank, it probably wouldn't be worth it to own a gas station. So if cost doesn't determine how much you should charge, how do you decide how to price your goods or services? Unless your price is limited by government regulation or price controls, the market will decide what the right price is for your product or service based on supply and demand. Ultimately, you want your price to maximize your profit for the clients that you serve or for the number of products that you are able to produce while maintaining the quality standards that you've set for your business. I'll give you a quick example. Let's say that you're able to produce 100 units per week. A unit can be an hour that you or one of your employees spend working for a client, or it can be a physical product. If you're only selling 50 of those units a week, but a lot of customers are walking away without buying, your price is probably too high. If you're selling all 100 units, but you're turning away 25 to 50 people a week because you can't meet the demand, your price is probably too low. In this simplified example, what we're talking about is called price elasticity. It's the effect that price has on the demand for any given product or service. In a perfect world, you'd want to be selling 90 to 100 units a week without turning any buyers who wanted to purchase from you away. Now, in that example, we're assuming that your business is getting enough leads or potential customer inquiries to realistically sell the number of units that you can produce. If you have a new business or a business that's still in its early development stages, you probably don't have enough customer history to properly evaluate your price based on supply and demand. You'll have to evaluate your product and the market that you serve to determine what pricing to start with. Your first step when determining your price is to check out what your customers are already paying for services or products like yours. The easiest way to do this is to shop your competitors. In fact, years ago, if you worked in a retail store, they would teach you how to spot people walking around the store and writing down prices. Those people were likely competitors shopping prices to make sure that your store didn't have some sort of competitive advantage over theirs. The employees were actually trained to kick those price shoppers right out of the store. With the advent of internet shopping, it's a lot easier because everything's way more transparent. Often, you can go to your competitors' websites and search for products or services, or you can get a quote instantly to determine what they're charging. You also might take a look at companies like Angie's List or Thumbtack. They'll give you a price range to expect when you're hiring an in-home service. But be careful, don't just shop online. Those prices often vary greatly by location, and more importantly, it's really difficult to tell the quality of service that that company or product provides. In some situations, you can call your competitors and ask for a quote. Some companies will only quote prices after having evaluated the job that you're asking them to do. In this case, I've seen really good success asking a friend or a family member to pose as a potential customer and get several quotes from your competitors on your behalf. Your personal network can also help. There are probably people who live in your neighborhood or who you know who've purchased a product or service like yours recently. You can post on Facebook asking them for recommendations and then do some probing to get the right information that you're looking for. Neighborhood Facebook groups and Nextdoor are a great resource for this, along with using your business connections if you're doing business to business sales. One of the most important things that you can do while doing product research is to get an idea of what the complete market is for your product or service. Every industry has different levels of quality and price varies greatly. No matter what your business sells, there will always be lower quality cheap options and higher quality premium options. It's very important that when you're doing your market research, you understand what's available across the whole spectrum. Along with researching prices, find out what the differences are between those service providers. What materials do they use? Do they have an office or are they working from their home? Do they have a company vehicle or are they showing up in their 1988 Ford Festiva? These things make a big difference in how your customers or their customers receive the quality of that company. You can only determine what your price is going to be if you have a full understanding of what options are available to your customers and how you fit in. I like to graph out my competition. It gives you an easy visual representation of where your competitors fall on the spectrum of both quality and price. On the up and down axis, we estimate the quality of the product that they're providing. The closer to the bottom, the lower the perceived quality of the product. The closer to the top, the higher the perceived quality. Here's a quick tip on perceived quality. It has more to do with how your customers feel about a product than the actual quality. You can have the exact same product or service as a competitor, but you can influence how the customer perceives it. For instance, if you roll up to the curbside in that 1988 Ford Festiva, not much that you're going to be able to do on that job is going to build confidence with that customer. But if you pull up in a newer model truck that's wrapped with a logo, people are going to take you seriously. Even if you did the same exact work, they would see more value because they have more trust in the company that looks more professional. So perceived quality has very little to do with the actual work and more to do with how the customer feels about that work. All right, back to the chart. On the left to right axis, we have price. The lower the price, the closer to the left side of the graph. And as your price gets higher, it moves to the right. Let's take a look at a few examples. Grocery store brand plain crackers are very low price, and customers don't expect much from plain crackers as far as quality, so they're on the lower left-hand side. This is where most commodity products that you can find anywhere live. At the top right of the graph, and the exact opposite of plain crackers, is airplane engines. The customer expectations are super high with airplane engines. The product can't fail or people die, and as you would expect, the price is also very high. Loss leaders are products that you offer customers to get them in the door, to get their attention. Grocery stores often do this with sale ads because when you come in to pick up the cheap milk or hamburger, you pick up a whole lot of other things while you're there. Finally, on the bottom right, you have products that are very low quality and very expensive. Ballpark or stadium beer is the best example that I can think of. A beer that might cost you 50 cents or $1 everywhere else goes for 10 to 12 bucks at the ball stadium. And if you want a good beer, you might pay 20 because you can't go anywhere else and get it. You're stuck there. Generally, the higher your perceived quality is, the higher your prices will be, and your customers expect that. This means that most products live somewhere between plain crackers and aircraft engines. I like to call this the money zone. Let's take a look at some examples that live in the money zone. The first example is a new home builder. No new house is cheap, so all of this is relative to that industry. Production builders that build townhouses, or they build the same 1 or 2 home plans 50 times in the same neighborhood, are the lowest in both quality and price. You might not be able to choose the layout of your kitchen, the exact furnishes you want, that sort of thing. You definitely won't be able to change the floor plan. As you move up on the scale in both price and quality, you've got the semi-custom home builder. You can choose all the fit and finishes that you want, but you're generally still buying within their development or subdivision. Moving up from there, you've got another semi-custom home builder. They'll survey the land that you've previously bought. They'll offer you blueprints that work for that land, and then you'll be able to customize it within reason. Anything that you want can be done at a surcharge. Finally, the most expensive option is to hire an architect. They'll custom design a home and build it. That home will be unique to you. exactly to your specifications. They'll design the home in the style that you love while catering to all your needs and wants and all of your likes and dislikes. Now, along that spectrum, there'll be lots of different options up and down the scale based on the experience of the builder, the base options that they offer, and how nice the neighborhood is that they're building in. But generally, the price will move from the very top of the money zone to the bottom. No architect is going to design a house at the bottom of the price range, and you would never knowingly buy a poor quality home at the top of the price range. Now that we've looked at a couple of examples in the money zone, let's take a look at a couple of local service businesses. We're going to use the example of a handyman service, but these concepts can apply to any business that provides service to customers in their home, like a carpet cleaner, a skilled tradesperson, or even a mobile car detailing company. On the low end, you've got Uncle Jimmy. Uncle Jimmy shows up in his 1990 pickup truck with some rust spots, and he may or may not have insurance. He's probably just doing jobs on the side to make ends meet. He's a jack of all trades. As long as he shows up and nothing goes wrong, you may be just fine. But good luck getting a hold of him if something goes wrong. As we move up the scale, companies start to offer guarantees on their work that people and customers feel confident in, and their customers have higher expectations on what they'll get. Your local handyman works alone. Maybe occasionally he hires a helper. He's cheap, he's reliable, so you may be able to get on his schedule in a few weeks when he has an opening. If something goes wrong, he'll fix it, but it might take a little bit of time. As the size of the company grows, so does the availability. The handyman company has several crews. They provide formal estimates. They have a brand like a logo on their truck, and it's wrapped with graphics advertising their services. It won't take 2 weeks to get to you, but you still have to get on the schedule in the next few days. Finally, you have the on-demand handyman. This company has made a business of being available when you need them. You're not just paying for the hours that they come out and work for you, you're paying for them to be available immediately. Their schedule is never full, and that's done on purpose. When you call, they come out within a half hour to take care of your emergency. They do great work and they're always available, and that's what you pay them for. Now that we've mapped out a couple of examples of companies that live in the money zone, it's time for you to do that in your local area. So contact your competitors, get as much information as you can about them, and place them on the graph. Once you get everybody on the graph, it's time to take an honest look at where your business currently fits into the market. This should give you an idea of the price range that you should start with, and you can experiment with your price from there. So if your nearest competitor is charging $125 an hour and the one that's just a little bit higher quality than you is charging $150, maybe $135 or $140 might be the right answer. Remember, you can always move up the scale as your company grows. Make sure that as you grow, your prices scale up correspondingly. You want to make sure that you're not doing more work and earning less money. On that topic, I'm going to be doing a video on how to raise prices without losing customers. When that video comes out, I'll put it right up here in the card above. And if you've done the market research as I've described, and you've honestly evaluated where your business fits in with the competition, you can be confident that you've set a reasonable price, and you can work from there to optimize it up or down to maximize your profitability, balancing supply and demand. In a moment, I'm going to tell you the number one thing I see my clients doing wrong on pricing. But first, if you like this video and you want to see more tips and strategies for growing your business beyond a job, like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps let YouTube know that you liked our videos so that they'll show it to more business owners just like you. As I've promised, I'm going to tell you the biggest mistake I see business owners make with pricing. Don't undercut your competitors' prices unless it's done very intentionally. In a price war, everybody loses. You may be doing all of the work yourself when you start off. You may be able to charge half of what the competition does and still make money. But as soon as you start to build your business and start working as a business owner instead of as a technician or an owner operator, you won't be able to do that anymore. Start with the end in mind. Set your prices as if you had to pay employees to provide the service. You want to build a business, not just a job where you are your own boss. If you're still here, thank you. I appreciate the time that you spent with me. If I've helped just one person set the right price for their business, I'm going to consider it a major success.